Right, so we have a nice terrain of our roundabout. We need to embellish this now with curbs and grass and footways and things. So let's do that. Now we need to set up our views. So you can do an F12, which will do that, or a right-click view control, two views, plan in 3D, and it will set the view up for you like so. So let's have a look at this north curb. We're going to put some curbing around here. So we're going to apply a linear template to this. We're going to select it. We're going to pick just the curb, which is all we really want in this case. So we'll go for the HB half battered curb 2. That's good. Let's copy that and paste that in here. That's what we want. Start to end. You want this on the inside, not the outside. Notice what happens to the reflect option in the tool settings. It turns on here and off here. That's where we want it. And we're going to call it North Island. Brilliant. So if we zoom in on there, we can now see that curb in there. And we can now add what we're now going to add is a terrain. Now we're going to add that terrain to the feature, this back top of the curb. So if we were to go and look at the template library for that curb in here, UK components, UK curbs, half battered 2, you can see it's got a feature here. This point will make a feature called curb back top. So we're going to use that to make our terrain. So from terrain, from elements, we're going to make sure that they've got curb back top. There it is. We're going to pick it. We're going to give it a name in here of North Island Grass, perhaps. I'm using a feature definition that I've made. It may or may not be in your settings, but we can create anything I like. Now this means it will automatically put the triangles on. It will automatically attach a material to them of grass. It's going to be a boundary feature, and there it is, and you can now see the grass in here. Now I'll do the other 3 islands later. You won't need to see that, but I want to do one of these curb returns, and then I'll complete the whole model offline and come back. So again, we want to do another linear template, and we want to do it along here. This time we don't just want a curb, we want the whole thing. So let's go to linear templates UK roundabout. Again, you may make many of these. This is quite a complicated set of end conditions, but that's fine. Again, we want to go from the start to the end. Just going to go and copy that name there and put it in there. And call it North Island. And you can see, hopefully in the 3D view, what we've got. Now, one thing we haven't got is we haven't got our end conditions. We've just got the berm here and the berm here. Be nice if we had some end conditions. Well, that's because we haven't got a terrain attached. So let's go and attach the terrain, the original ground model, as it were. Sorry. Let's go to here. I'll attach that in the normal way, and then we'll make it active. Okay, it has to be active. So we just select it and then go create, set it as active. I can turn that off now. Don't really need to see that. Okay. So we need to reprocess this. So we're going to select this linear template. Actually, we do it over in the 2D view. It's a lot simpler. We select the linear template and reprocess this one here, and that will now go and work out our cuts and fills in here like so. So let's fit our 3D view, and you can see what you're building up in here. It's all starting to look quite good. Okay, so let's probably turn the terrain off in that view as well. So make sure that's off. I don't really need to see that. Okay, so it's all looking pretty good. So I'm going to go off and complete the rest of this, and then I'll come back and show you at the end and have a chat about some things that we may need to consider. Okay, so here we have the model pretty much complete. So if we were to rotate this around, you can see it's looking pretty good. I need to add some lines on that, which I may do in a future video, so where we draw some lines and then drape them on, stamp them on the model, which could work quite nicely. Now there's one area here that's probably a little bit dicky, and that is because our terrain, let's go and turn the terrain on in the view here. You can see our terrain encroaches a little bit too close here, so our end conditions can't be worked out. But there's nothing we can do with that about that. We can either change the end conditions or expand the terrain out here. So that's all looking pretty good. Now we could do things at the moment. Our island is pretty much a flat plate. We could do things in here like I don't know. What am I thinking? Let's turn on the 3D in here. We could have a look at perhaps turn that off, at the elevation on our island, and you can see 50.2 50. I could put in here an element that gave us a little pop-up on the island, 50.3 or something. So we could put a circle in there, we could put a B-spline, we could do pretty much anything we liked. So let's just for the sake of argument have a look at how we might do that. So what I could do is do a circle in here of this is going to look not very it's not going to look very organic, but it doesn't really matter. So let's say I put a circle in there and I want to set that at 50.3, which is above the roundabout. We could use tools in here to do constant elevation, pick this and then go for 50.3, which would be good. And that element is done. It's in there, but it isn't part of my roundabout. So I might want to make it part of my roundabout. So we could add elements into here, into our terrain, just to to change it, to give it a bit more oomph, as it were. So let's go and add that feature. So onto this terrain, we're going to add this feature, and because I've set the elevation, it may as well be a contour. So I can pick contour as an element type, and you can see what we're starting to get in here. I'm getting some coincident surface flashes in here, but it should give you an idea of what we're trying to achieve. Now, of course, the good thing about that is if you don't like that, maybe you wanted to change the radius to 5 meters, you can see it automatically updates the terrain as you go. So it'll work quite neatly like that because it's all ruled. Likewise, I could go to a profile view. Let's go to a separate view in here. And if we didn't like that elevation that it was set at, there it is, 50.3. Maybe we want to go to 50.5. You can do that, and everything automatically updates within the model, which is quite useful. Now, obviously, I was not very careful with my naming of this. So let's have a look. It's just called that with no feature definition. So let's say I picked a temporary. Let's just pick a temporary feature definition for it. That's quite a decent thing to do because I can go into here and into my standards for this file. There's my feature definitions. I think I used alignment. There's John Temp, and I could turn it off, and it turns it off in the 3D view. So hopefully that's giving you a really good grounding in how you might want to do a complete roundabout design. What we have to remember is that it's not a job that can be done in 5 minutes. It does take a little bit more time than that. So last thing I'm going to do in here is just to show you perhaps instead of just showing the contours in here, let's have the contours and the triangles. Let's have the major contours as well, the major and minor contours, so you can start to see the contours that I started to build up on here. And obviously I could put in maybe take this point and give that some elevation within here. So I wonder if I can, we've got a point in here, we can probably, I won't be able to give that elevation, of course, because it's in a separate file. Anyway, without wanting to gild the lily any further, I'm going to leave it at that, and there may be future videos coming with road aligning and so on.